Hello everybody, Matthew with Parkway Business Solutions, and today in this video we're going to go through the process of first inviting an accountant to your company file, but then I'm doing this so we can then show how you disconnect an accountant, or also how an accountant would disconnect themselves. So join us for the connections and disconnections of QuickBooks Online. So let's jump in here. I basically created a new test drive company file at the moment. So you can see trial subscription, sorry, into it. And I just did the basic steps to try to get something opened up as quick as I possibly could. Now, what I'm going to do to add on my accountant, I'm going to go to my gear icon and go to Manage Users. Now, under Manage Users, you have the ability that you have paid subscription, of course, here, and then you have accounting firm. So when you do as an accounting firm, that provides me, the accountant, the ability to access your company file specifically through my accountant tools, my QuickBooks Online accountant. So I'll fill this in here. And we'll go invite. So the next step of this process is when the accountant receives this email, the way to be successful with this is before you accept the invite through the email, you should actually be logged out of everything QuickBooks Online 100%. I've even seen it where if you're in an incognito window, it can cause a bit of a glitch, but you want to be completely logged out, and that ensures that it just connects 100% correctly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this real quick so I can pull up that email and start the process. We'll be right back. Okay, so as you can see here, we've got the accept invitation pulled up at the moment. And as I just said, really the right way to go about this is you should be logged all the way out of everything QuickBooks Online to ensure, as the accountant accepting it, it just goes through a little bit easier. Now, I'm a glutton for punishment, so I'm not even going to take my own advice. We'll go accept invitation. Figure worst case, it's going to show you the challenge that you'd run into, and that will help people as well. Of course, we've got this here. Boom. Accept invitation. And what this should do is actually ask me which accounting firm, so that's good. And as we can see here, like I'm trying to click the correct firm that I want, but it's not activating. So that could be part of the fact I'm still logged into something else. So to redo this, what I'd actually have to do is kind of go backwards, re-accept it, and then try that part again. I'll pause this real quick. Once I fully logged out of my normal QuickBooks Online accountant and I went back through the process, opened back up, it did you accepted the company's invitation. Click continue. And we are in. So the reason to do this, as we're kind of just making this video, is for the accountant, your accountant, to be able to do their job the most efficient way possible. We have a unique set of tools that we can use. Some of our favorite ones, of course, are like the reclassification tool, which helps us go through, and if there are certain transactions by vendors that need to be changed from one account to another, we can very quickly do it in batch or bulk amount to make sure we get things cleaned up for you. We also have additional items like we can go through and check out any voided or deleted transactions. Because unfortunately, every once in a while we have clients that think they should just go in and delete things, and we have to try to find out what happened to them. This will list it out. We can write off invoices, of course. Close books is where we have the ability, when the period is done, we can close it and put a password to ensure that historical information is not changed. That's actually good for both you and for us. It saves everybody time. Then we have, of course, our specialized accountant reports. We can reconcile bank accounts, and the accountant tools gives us the ability to also unreconcile a bank account, which is great. From there, we can also go to our report tools. I always love this one. because you can set your default reporting that you would want. So especially since we're coming up towards the end of the year right now, when we hit January, we're going to probably spend a lot of our time doing prior year reporting. And instead of having to go in and change every single time we run a report, we could just come in here and go last year, and then every report we're pulling up for us will show up in that format. So it's a good time-saving little trick. So that's some of the neat little features, but let's come over here to Gear Icon now, and let's go over to Manage Users. And from Manage Users, we can see this is they're the master admin because I opened the account that way. Here, the accounting firm, I'm set up right through here, okay? Now, keep in mind, because they've invited me and it's been added this way, I don't have, if I remember correctly, I don't have an action to remove myself from this. If I was to now go back to my other one here, and let's refresh the screen, you'll notice I am in an incognito window, okay? So here we go to accounting firm, it is now active, come to here, I can make them, I can make myself a master admin, which when that's done, as the master admin, I have to accept that option through email. It's not just a simple click, boom. You actually have to go through the email, which means you would want to be logged out, go through that whole process again to make it, that's where I'm the master admin. Master admin has the full control, basically, in a sense, the ownership of it, so who could really cancel the account, so forth. So if I was master admin, I would have a little bit more control over myself, but again, this is a situation where the user has the main control. If you were to try to offboard a client and you were the master admin, one of the things you would need to do is make a master admin request over to them so they can accept it and take over ownership as well as billing for the account. Very, very, very important. If you do that and they do not actually accept it and it just kind of sits there pending, the account can go dormant and be canceled. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause this again and we'll be right back to show you the removals. Here's the challenging part of this process. If I am the accountant and I want to remove myself from a client's company file, the way I would go about it is I would jump in here, as we saw earlier, we'd go to Manage Users and we'd go to Accounting Firm. Now, the difficulty is if you have two different firms set up here, and if you're not the lead accountant, then you have the ability that you'd see in action, you'd be able to remove yourself. So really what would have to happen is if you have a client and you're transitioning them off of your services, hopefully they are onboarding somebody else that you'd be able to have that accountant invited in, ensure you're not a lead accountant, and then remove yourself. So again, if we go back to the client's version, which again, trial here you can see, now here I have the ability, again, master admin, or I can choose delete. So this would be the easier aspect of it. Let's do this. We're gonna go make master admin, okay? And let's see if the master admin's on the other foot, if you will, if that will now make it to where we will have the ability to do something with our controls. Okay, so we're now in. As we would expect, I need to go and access that email, which we should have in here. You've been granted master admin. As master admin, you will have access to all the features. To accept the role, you'll need to click here, decline it there. Click there. Okay, so I just went in and I basically logged out of both company files to complete the process of changing over or making those changeovers. So I'm starting off, I'm in the client's file again, manage users. And again, what we just had done previous was we switched me as the accountant over as the master admin. and it's now putting on 2 users, which are both considered billed. And then under accountant, I've got myself here again, right? But now I don't, because I'm no longer, the client's no longer the master admin, I can no longer remove the accountant version of this. So that if we go back here, now this is my accountant version, okay? So I'm showing up here, showing as the master admin. Now if I go to accounting firm, I still don't have that there either. So this is where some of the conundrum or difficulty comes into play. What would have to happen here in this scenario is you would go back to your users, you would change and make this person master admin again, and then they would be able to remove you. So the very last thing we're going to do is we're going to, as the accountant, instead of going through as the client and removing us as a master admin, all that type of stuff, I'm going to go in as the accountant, and I've got the company file on my list. I could click into it. I'm actually going to go here and go make inactive. Sure you want to make this inactive? Yes. So this client is now considered inactive. So it doesn't cancel subscription, okay? If you wanted to cancel subscription, you would actually have to come up, if you had, and it was on your billing, I should say, you would come up here and go to your account, and then you would actually choose the account and then turn it off. So for the final recap, again, the way this sets up, if a customer creates their own company file and they are master admin, they can then invite an accountant to join in as an accountant. That accountant in that nature is the only accountant, does not have the ability to directly remove themselves from the company file, delete it. Only the master admin would have that capability. Now, if the client, who is the master admin, chooses to make you, the accountant, the master admin, you still do not have the ability to just remove yourself as an accountant, not if it's here alone. You would need to have another accountant logged onto it, and that would become the lead accountant, and then you could be removed. So I hope this demonstration assisted you guys. It is a very confusing aspect of how you can go from here to there to everywhere. So that was kind of my goal, is to show how confusing it can be, but hopefully give you some guidance to it. So again, and here's wishing you guys a very successful week.